The Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra is shaping up to be one of the most interesting Ultra releases in recent years. Samsung is making some bold design decisions this time, and leaks from Ice Universe are giving us a clear idea of what's changing. The first major detail is the front camera hole. The S26 Ultra has a noticeably larger punch hole compared to the S25 Ultra. It now measures 4mm in diameter, which makes it the largest front camera hole Samsung has ever used on an Ultra model. At first, this raised concerns because Samsung has always been known for having one of the smallest and cleanest punch hole cameras among Android flagships. But we now know the actual reason behind this change. Samsung has increased the front camera's field of view to 85 degrees. This means the S26 Ultra's selfie camera now captures a much wider frame, similar to the wide-angle range of the S25 Ultra's rear main camera. Practically, this lets you take better group selfies and fit more background into your shots without stretching faces or cutting anyone off. So yes, the hole is bigger, but it's functionally justified. Ice Universe confirms that all three models, S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra, will share the exact same 3x zoom camera setup. The confirmed specs are 10 megapixel ISOCELL sensor size, 1/3.94 pixel size, 1.0 aperture, f2.4, field of view, 36 degrees. So despite rumors of a megapixel increase, this camera remains 10 megapixel, not 12. Ice Universe has just shared the full body data for the entire Galaxy S26 series, and here's how the lineup breaks down. The Galaxy S26 comes in with a 6.3-inch display measuring 149.4 by 71.5 by 6.9 millimeters. The S26 Plus steps up to a 6.7-inch panel with dimensions of 158.4 by 75.8 by 7.3 millimeters. And finally, the Galaxy S26 Ultra, the king of the lineup, comes in at 6.9 inches, measuring 163.6 by 78.1 by 7.9 millimeters. What's impressive is how Samsung has managed to slightly refine the form factor again while keeping that massive Ultra feel intact. But that's not all. In another exclusive tweet, Ice Universe revealed that the entire Galaxy S26 series will use LPDDR5X memory running at 10.7 gigabyte per second, the highest spec RAM currently in mass production. That's a big deal because this isn't just about speed, it's about what that speed enables. The final tweet explains exactly that. The S26 Ultra's 10.7 gigabyte per second RAM provides a serious camera advantage compared to the S25 Ultra's 8.5 gigabyte per second. Ice Universe even shared a full comparison chart, and the differences are massive. Thanks to the higher bandwidth, the image signal processor can handle multi-frame HDR and RAW data much faster. That means shorter shutter lag in night shots, smoother 8K recording, and cleaner AI-driven image enhancement. It even improves noise reduction, frame stability, and thermal performance, giving users sharper photos and steadier video recording across all camera modes. According to the official CAD-based renders, the S26 Ultra has become slightly thinner, but the camera bump area for the 3x telephoto lens has not changed. This is important because if the physical space of the module didn't increase, the sensor itself cannot get larger. So the idea of a bigger 3x sensor was never realistic. Ice Universe confirms that the S26 Ultra will continue to use a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto sensor with f/2.4 and a 1/3.94 inch size consistent with the design constraints. He also addressed some misinformation. Recently, some rumors claim that the S26 Ultra would come with a 5,400 mAh battery. Ice Universe states that this is false. Samsung finalized the 5,000 mAh battery capacity long ago. Changing the battery would require redesigning the internal structure and redoing certification testing, which is not happening at this stage of production. On charging speed, Anthony, the Galaxy, cleared up the confusion by confirming that 60-watt fast charging for the S26 Ultra was never in doubt. References to this charging rate were found directly in One UI system code, so any claim of a lower charging speed is simply incorrect. Ice Universe also summarized what he claims are the final camera specifications for the Galaxy S26 Ultra. 200 megapixel main camera, f/1.4, 1/1, 3-inch. 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera, f/1.9, 1/2.52 inch, 50 megapixel 5x telephoto, f/2.9, 1/2.52 inch, 10 megapixel 3x telephoto, f/2.4, 1/3.94 inch. So overall, the Galaxy S26 Ultra is focusing on refinement rather than major hardware overhauls. A leaker at Chun 8888, who has shared information based on debug tests, essentially early tests for what is now nearing the final stage of the Galaxy S26 Ultra, reported new details as the device moves closer to mass production. Meanwhile, Ice Universe added comments about the widely discussed 60-watt fast charging based on these same test results. Another source at SPYGO 19000 726, who claims access to internal documents and discussions with engineers, has suggested that Samsung's Exynos 2600 chipset could play an important role in camera performance improvements. According to Chum, the Galaxy S26 Ultra's camera sensor configuration in the debug testing is as follows: 200 megapixel HP2 main sensor, 50 megapixel JN3 ultra-wide, 12 megapixel 5K3 LD3X telephoto, 50 megapixel IMX854 periscope 5X, 12 megapixel IMX874 front camera. The main difference compared to the S25 Ultra is the switch from the older 10 megapixel 3X sensor with a 1/1.39 size to the newer 12 megapixel K3 D sensor. The rest of the setup remains the same as the S25 Ultra. Ice Universe reaffirmed that he has consistently stated the device would support 60-watt charging, not 45-watt, and now the test data confirms this. According to him, the S26 Ultra has indeed made notable improvements in charging speed. Additionally, at SPYGO 19726 claims the Exynos 2600 will deliver major upgrades in camera processing. The chip is said to support up to a 320 megapixel main sensor and offer enhanced HDR and RAW capture capabilities. Even if Samsung does not include a 320 megapixel sensor in the S26 Ultra, the improved image processing should still result in much better low light performance, higher detail levels, and more accurate colors in final photos. Ice Universe compared the display panels of the S25 Ultra and S26 Ultra side by side. The S26 Ultra appears slightly taller and narrower, which could enhance comfort during one-handed use. The corners are also more rounded than the sharper edges seen on the S25 Ultra, giving the device a softer and more updated design. Ice Universe also shared a new comparison video between the Galaxy S25 Ultra and the upcoming Galaxy S26 Ultra, and the biggest change is once again the display. The bezels are another noticeable change. Earlier renders showed extremely thin and perfectly uniform bezel, which seemed almost unrealistic. The updated renders still feature slim bezel, but they appear more practical and balanced, consistent with Samsung's recent flagship designs. The frame has also been refined. Instead of a completely flat profile with sharp edges, the newer design adds a slight curve, making the phone more comfortable to hold. According to Ice Universe, this adjustment is likely aimed at improving ergonomics. We also get a comparison between the Galaxy S26 Ultra and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. This image reveals that the iPhone 17 Pro Max will have more rounded corners than Samsung's upcoming device. Recently, discussions have surfaced about a potential price increase, a tough call for Samsung, as higher prices could impact overall sales. However, it seems this decision may not be entirely within Samsung's control. A new report from South Korea indicates that rising component costs across the industry are making a price hike for the Galaxy S26 series almost unavoidable. According to a recent Samsung Electronics report, chipset prices have risen by 12% compared to last year's average, while camera module costs are up by 8%. Mobile DRAM prices have also surged by 16% since the first quarter of this year. This could help explain why Samsung prioritized developing its own Exynos 2600 for the Galaxy S26 series, as it's expected to be more cost-effective than sourcing Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon chip. If the price increase does occur, it's expected to fall between $50 and $100, consistent with Samsung's typical adjustments during past generational upgrades. According to Ice Universe on X, images of what appeared to be tempered glass protectors for the Galaxy S26, Galaxy S26 Plus, and Galaxy S26 Ultra have been shared. From the image, it's clear that all three protectors feature rounded corners, indicating that the displays of each model will follow the same design approach, something previously suggested by earlier renders. The protectors also imply that all three devices will have uniformly sized bezels, which appear to be extremely slim. However, whether they are thinner than the bezels on the Galaxy S25 series remains uncertain. That comparison can only be confirmed once we have exact measurements or a direct side-by-side evaluation after Samsung officially unveils the new lineup. Let's wait and see what the Galaxy S26 Ultra truly delivers when it officially launches. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Peace out.